Nice job. Chins, and he gave various prizes out, a lot of them from the Woodland store for the people from Berkeley, Alameda, Bruce Brothers. And finally he came to the spot and he says, Mr. Williamson. I said, you know, who the heck was that? I never been called Mr. in my life. He said, come up here. Well, he marched up there, and we had about 30 guys that had come out, marched up in front and said, Mr. Williamson, I want you to know that you've won the least beard with the most effort. But, these things. And as you can see the holes in it, I'm going to pass it around when I get it back. But you can see the holes in it. And as you push the valve down, as we did in that first number, the music went round and round into the various chambers according to the way that the holes are. It takes a tremendous amount of skill to crank these out correctly. Yeah, they're big companies. There's about 30 or 40 different trumpet companies that make different trumpets. The one that I want to call your attention to that we get a little different tune out of, but all the pros, trumpet players, like them. They're made in France and Germany, and they're called rotary valves. Well, as the name implies, you know, it rotates, the holes rotate. As you push the valve down, in this, it goes straight up and down. Can you play a note or tune on with mouthpiece? Well, sure. Let me demonstrate a couple of neighbors talking over the fence. Interpretation. It would be seen with a rag that yellow hat on. I mean, it just changes the air that's coming out is the tone's going to change as you change the airstream that's coming out of your tongue. This is one of my favorite units. It's air freshener. I bought it at Walmart for 94 cents. Does a very good job.
Does it really work?
Oh yeah.
That's not a joke.
But it changes some of the tone too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And another thing that is used for a mute, just a plain old hat. That's for Alberta. single tone is two. And Marsalis can do two faster than I could ever think of doing in concert. Now that particular variation, you hear him carry the basic melody down in the lower notes, and he's playing the higher ones too. I hope we have time to listen to when he really gets going. You say it's impossible. Well, this is impossible too. It's a 7-foot-long, 8-foot-long trumpet. Exodus mentions it. Of course, Revelations, has it. Moses writes it up real good. When Albert and I were visiting King Tut's tomb, guess what's on the walls of the tomb? The trumpeters, yeah. So we know it goes back then and probably more. And over the years, they have brought it down to this. They cut the 7, 8 foot into this, and I explained how they have bent the tubing and so forth and so on. Where did I get this horn? The man that made it by hand was Elton Benj. I got it in 1939, and the internet says they're trying to find out who has the first trumpet made by Elton Benj. Elton was playing trumpet for the for the symphony in Chicago, the Chicago Philharmonic, and sitting next to him was a guy named Demers. Well, gee, they couldn't find the horn. Who did he make the first trumpet for? Somebody sitting next to him in the Chicago Philharmonic. Who was sitting next to him? Demers. I was taking lessons from him. Have you ever heard of this? Remember that? Probably before your time. There was an old program called the Borax. Yeah. And he played that every time in person. They didn't broadcast, they didn't tape it, they didn't record it. He played it every time in person in San Francisco. And I was taking from him in Oakland. And he said,